Welcome back to part two. Newsroom here, Chella Smith. This is your Middle East U.S. entertainment news here on YouTube. I air on Fridays, bringing you the latest on reforms and economics based on reports put out by the Middle East news media outlets. I do this weekly review and it's based off my interests. Thank you everyone for joining me again. It's wonderful to be back in the studio, refreshed after an amazing vacation. I speak more about this in part one. We had a lot of important news that we missed while I was gone regarding economics, and so we did this week's news in two parts. Shall we continue bringing you up to date with the current week? Alfred News reports oil prices witness a raise today in light of investors' fears of the shortage, in light of OPEC's decision and the statement of the president of the European Commission. The price of the July futures for Brent crude oil rose 58%, and June futures for West Texas Intermediate crude rose 55% to $108.56 per barrel. In addition, the price hike supports the recent proposal of the European Commission's president to introduce a complete oil embargo on Russian oils in phase as part of the new sixth round of sanctions. Baghdad Magazine News reports the financial advisor to Prime Minister Mohammed Saleh expects Thursday that Iraq's revenue during the current year will exceed $150 billion. Saleh said that the International Monetary Fund reading an expectation of a jump in the Iraqis' private revenues during the current year, 2022, focuses on the total oil and non-oil public revenues of the Federal of Iraq, saying that the funds may estimated the average daily exports of crude oil at 3.4 million barrels per day, with an average annual price of $104 per barrel, exported from oil or more, with non-oil revenues of no less than $8 to $10 billion. If the Kyrgyzstan region's oil revenues and other revenues are added, the total federal revenues could easily exceed $150 billion at the end of 2022. The International Monetary Fund expected earlier that Iraq would achieve a jump in the public revenues during this year, after the increase in oil prices amounting to $149 billion and an annual change rate of 73% from last year in 2021. Shafak News reports the World's Gold Council announced Wednesday that Iraq has fallen one rank in the world's largest reserves of precious metals after the Egyptian bank purchased large quantities of gold to suppress Iraq and some countries in its global ranking. In May 2022, the council said it is the largest schedule for the month of March that Iraq has fallen one rank to reach 40th globally out of the 100 countries listed in the table with the largest gold reserves, noting that the Central Bank of Egypt bought a quantity of approximately 44 tons of gold in February to raise its gold reserves to 125 tons, thus surpassing several countries and reaching the 33rd place after it was 41st. He pointed out that Iraq has still not provided any update on its gold holdings since last year of October, bringing its gold holdings to 96.4 tons, which represents 9.4% of the rest of its other reserves. It is noteworthy that the World's Gold Council, which is headquarters in the United Kingdom, has extensive experience and deep knowledge of the factors that cause the market change, and its members consist of largest and the most advanced gold mining companies in the world. Shafak News reports the United Nations Assistant Mission for Iraq, the UNAMI, stressed on Monday the importance of having a secured collective will to end the political stalemate in the country, calling on Iraqis leaders to agree on forming a government without delay. The mission urges the political leaders in Iraq to assume their responsibilities and expedite the process of forming the government, observing the constitutional time timeframes and agreeing without farther delay on the government's capable of quickly and decisively to address Iraqis' long list of outstanding local priorities. Iraq enters a political blockage between its political blocs in light of a desire to form a national majority government, with another party calling for a formation of a consensual government with each party committed to its demands, which has been unsuccessful in any attempt to form a government so far. Shafak News reports the spokesman for the leader of the Sodarist movement, Muqtada al-Sadrs, confirmed Sunday that the Sodarist bloc's readiness to go to the opposition if the other parties were able to form a new government. Al-Abadi said in a statement to the Voice of the Kyrgyzstan-speaking America, "And if the other parties form the government without us, we will become an opposition and we will receive it in a sporting spirit," adding that there is pressure on the parties in the tripartite alliance from inside and outside Iraq, but our relationship is strong, he says. The tripartite alliance includes the Sodarist bloc, the Kyrgyzstan Democratic Party, and the Sunnis Alliance of Sovereignty. Baghdad Magazine News reports the financial advisor to Prime Minister Mauser Mohammed Saleh set Sunday a condition for depositing the financial surplus in a sovereignty fund, while indicating that the spending on social spending and addressing poverty will be the first priority. Saleh says that based on the text of Article 19, second of the amended Federal Financial Management Law number 6 of 2019, if the actual revenues exceed the total expenses or expenditures, including financing the planned deficit in the annual budget, the surplus amount is deposited into a sovereignty fund, providing that there is a budget law, and otherwise the mentioned financial surpluses will be deposited into the reserve account and will undoubtedly be an opening balance in the financing the federal general budget for the year 2023 in whole or in part, according to the exchange chapters and its future priorities. Well, that was fun. We had a significant amount of news this week. I had broke it down into two parts, making this part 2 of this week's Newsroom Weekly Review. Your Middle East U.S. entertainment news on reforms and economics, bringing you the latest Dinar news without having to keep up with all the different outlets. You're watching Newsroom Chella Smith here on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like my content, give me a thumbs up. Shout out to Currency 365 for his continued support. If you want to learn about stocks and cryptos while waiting on the dinar to revalue, you can join him and his crew for the most recent updates. You can find him on YouTube or Patreon. So he also goes in a little bit more about the political process over there, and I believe he was saying that there was 15 more days for the alliance to make a deal, and I think those dates ended up coming out to like May 20th. So around May 20th, we're looking for updated information about the presidency over there. If you didn't catch part 1, it's up on YouTube. It's been fun with all of you. That's all I have for this week's Newsroom. I'll see you guys next week. Thank you everyone again for being here. Take care. Make sure you join us Fridays, 4 p.m. with Newsroom Updates with Chella Smith, Entertainment News.